When should I be doing accounts? And when should I just enter it onto my tax return? Let's have a look today. Hi, I'm Kimberly Shapcott, qualified chartered accountant, property investor and entrepreneur. Let's sit down and have a chat. Now, I get asked this question on quite a regular basis, and the general consensus is, do you need a set of accounts? Not necessarily. Now, is it a useful way of formatting the information? Yes, it can be great. However, I'd probably start with, if you've only got one property, do you need to do a formal set of accounts? Probably not. Now, the information can be collated quite easily in an easy to understand format without having to do any sort of formal set of accounts. However, if you have 30, 40, 50 properties, it might actually be a useful way of formatting the data so that you can actually understand what do I actually have and how does it fit together. Now, there's a discrepancy here because you might want a set of accounts, but then you may need to look at the information that you've got there. So this is where your bookkeeping software or something like that can start diving into the detail for you. But to see the total or consuming data, a set of accounts is quite a useful way of seeing it. Now, I've just mentioned there one property or 30 to 50 properties, but a lot of people are probably somewhere in the middle. So do you need a set of accounts for any of those? Now, anything 2 or above, it may be a useful way of collating your information. But do you absolutely need to have them? No, definitely not. You do not need to have them. However, to collate the information, it can be a useful way of doing it. So the general consensus is, if you're using an accountant, they'll probably gather your information if you've got a couple of properties, and they'll probably put it directly on your tax return, unless you necessarily want anything more. If you've got more than a couple, then they'll probably start collating it all in a set of accounts. And the reason for that is it's the most cost-effective, easiest way to actually pull everything together to get those numbers that will end up on your tax return. But then that depends on how you are keeping your records. Because if you are keeping your records in a method that is easy to understand, it's all together, like on the Excel spreadsheet that you can get on one of my other videos, check that out. Check out the link here. And from there, do you need a set of accounts? Well, you probably don't need a separate formal set of accounts. Now, I'm going to backtrack on that for a second, because it may be you need some of these things for a different purpose. So if you're going to a broker, do they need a more formalised set of accounts to help you get lending on other projects? Is it that actually your bank wants a formal set of accounts to see what is actually happening in the property business? So there may be other reasons why you want a set of accounts, but can you just put things onto your tax return directly? Yes, you can. It is not a problem to do that if you have the properties in your own name. The main thing is you're keeping the records, you're collating the information, and you're putting it all on. Make sure you include all your expenses and check out the videos on what expenses you can be claiming, from the mortgage interest through to the gas certificate and the insurance and all the different things depending on the type of properties that you are providing to your tenants. There's no hard and fast rule here, and the main thing is how you best find the information useful so you can understand what's happening with your properties and your rental income. Now, the final thing I want to mention today really comes down to the next stage of what's coming in the future and what's coming in 2024, and that's making tax digital. So you may not need to do a formal set of accounts, however you will need to be doing some sort of bookkeeping, whether that be on a spreadsheet, check out the video on spreadsheets, or on some sort of software, and check out the video on software of what options you've got. Now, the reason for this is you will start to have to send quarterly submissions. So you will have to have your data collated together in an easy to access digital format. So a formal set of accounts is not needed, but the bookkeeping side of things, collating that data, is definitely going to be necessary, especially if your rental income is over 10,000. So anyone like me who's got rental income that just takes me shy over that 10,000, I think I'm at 10,200, you will have to be doing something on a regular basis. So check out what Making Tax Digital is on the video if you are not certain, but this will definitely require you to do some sort of record keeping, even if it is not a formal set of accounts. If you have any other questions on what you are required and not required to do, then please do leave a comment below and we can get rid of any of those myths of what you do and you don't have to be doing in terms of accounts and your rental income. Hopefully today you've discovered whether or not you need a set of accounts, which the answer tends to be, as with any accountant, it depends. However, if you do have any questions or any comments, please leave them below. Please do like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's make tax less taxing.